Well, we're here today with Tony Paglia from the Youngstown Chamber, and we're here at the Young Conference. So, Tony, tell us about yourself and the Chamber and today's event.
I'm Vice President for Government and Media Affairs at the Chamber. Today's event is the second annual Youngstown, Utica, Shale, and Natural Gas Conference and Expo. We had about 1,500 registrations today, which is about double what we had last year as far as business registrations. We sold out our exhibitor space about 3 weeks ago and had a waiting list. So we were really thrilled at the interest in this. It really shows, I think, to the industry, to our chamber members, etc., the interest and support that this area has for shale development.
That's wonderful. And since the area has so much interest in shale development, what kind of impacts have you seen in this area, in this region, from Utica shale development?
Well, it's interesting because there really hasn't been a lot of drilling yet in our area, more to the south of us. But what we have seen, and it's been going on for about 2 years, there's been growth in the manufacturing sector. A lot of supply chain companies for the oil and gas industry are either expanding in our area or locating in our area. And so we are an area that once was a major manufacturer in the world, and we went through a very long decline, and now we're starting to see a resurgence, and I think everybody's just thrilled to see that.
Well, that's fantastic. As you know, Tony, a lot of business leaders, community leaders, elected officials are behind this issue. They're for it, they see the benefits. However, there is what some might say is a small minority, a very loud minority of folks who oppose it for a variety of reasons. Have you interacted with any of those folks? What have you seen from them? Were they here today? What about them?
I'm not aware that they were here today. In the first Young Conference that we had, they had a demonstration, went through the downtown, and came down here. There is an organized group, a small group. They are against the fracking process. They're concerned about water supply. But I think a lot of it is information that's sort of being recycled and repeated, and in most cases is either exaggerated or totally incorrect. Some of it just they wish that, they're against fossil fuel development, a very basic part of that. So not much you can do about that. But I think what we're trying to do in conjunction with other groups like such as yours is to educate people about it, and to also back up and support the industry with facts and correct information.
And I think that's exactly right, Tony, is the industry has a responsibility to be in the communities, to talk to these community leaders, to address those concerns and not overlook them. Are there other things that the industry can do, or maybe the chamber can do, or the business community do to be more available or to address those concerns?
Right. I think that's something we've been in discussion with, and that I think we need to do a better job of educating and listening to the elected officials, who for the most part are supportive of the industry, but it's because it's just such a new thing, still such a new thing for everyone. I think we need to be vigilant when it comes to talking to the media and interfacing with the media, making sure that when there are exaggerations and inaccuracies that they are challenged. And I think we are talking about some additional educational forums and meetings so that as this industry really gears up and becomes more active, that everybody will understand what's going on and will have the opportunity to ask questions and to discuss issues.
Well, that's very good, and that's exactly where we need to be, is be able to be open and transparent and honest and address those concerns, not overlook them. Long term for the Valley and for Youngstown, where do you see this development taking, overall economic development and changes to the community? Going back maybe 5, 10, 15 years out the road, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, I think because we're seeing some early successes and some early activity, I think more companies will begin to see the Youngstown Warren area in a little different light. We had a reputation, frankly, for a while as probably not a great place to do economic development. But I think we've tried to change that image But often the best support for that comes from the companies themselves who are operating here or are locating here. What kind of an area is that to run a business, and what's the workforce like, etc. And so I think as time goes on, a lot of companies are coming in here and they're seeing and they're talking about what we do. One of the things we do is we have them talk to existing companies like V&M and others, and some of our long-established companies about what's it like to do business here. The fact that you can do business and that you can do business any way you want to do it. You don't have to be in a certain area. So I think that's going to create more opportunities for growth. We have more companies looking at this area right now than I think we ever have. Some of the people are just waiting. Look, there's a pause in some of their activity, but I think that once the drilling and that activity and then the midstream activity starts, I really believe we're going to see a growth that we have not seen probably in 100 years.
That's exciting. And one of the best examples that you just mentioned was the V&M plant. Can you talk to us a little bit about how that came about and what some of the impacts you've seen since they're just about finished, as we heard today, with their construction? What's that going to do for the greater Youngstown area?
V&M is in Valoric, I think they're the largest pipe maker in the world. They've had a facility here in Youngstown for about 10 years. It's an old refurbished steel mill and in one of our steel areas. And they produce pipe for the oil and gas industry, among others. They decided, as they saw the development of Marcellus and Utica Shale possibilities, that they needed to produce more pipe for that industry up in this area. They chose our area to expand. They have built which originally was reported to be a $650 million steel pipe plant in Youngstown adjacent. It's in Youngstown Girard, adjacent to their current Youngstown plant. They've completed that and are employing about 350 people in really good paying jobs. And adjacent to that plant, they're spending another $100 million. Their sister company, BAM Incorporated, is putting up a plant that will provide the connections, the pipe connections for the drilling industry as well. Another 100 jobs or so there. So what they're basically doing is they're transforming a once industrial area that has been really has run down over the last 30 years. They're transforming that area back into a great industrial area. They're planning to make it a model industrial area for the country. And we've been working hand in hand with them. That's really been the start of all that's been going on here. And they aren't finished. They've got more plans in the works for this area.
Well, Tony, as we close out here, are there any other final comments on behalf of yourself or the Chamber or the region that you'd like to share with us?
Well, I think the success of this second Young Conference just further puts the emphasis, makes the point that this area is very supportive and welcoming of this new industry, something that we never thought in a million years we would be involved in. I think we are thoughtful people here. We want this development. We want it to be done right. We want to make sure it's done right. And we think that if it is done correctly, managed correctly, this can be a fantastic opportunity for us. And really, for so many years, we had people moving away, our young people moving away. There's an opportunity actually to see people moving to this area and seeing that this area is an area for job growth opportunity.
Well, Tony, thanks for being with us here today. And for any additional information, make sure to visit us at eidohio.org and check out next week as we continue the conversation about Utica Shale development. Tony, thank you very much.